Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. My name is David Pendleton, and now we're covering the Pro Division Monster Tournament. This is going to be the opening round, front 9 holes. So I'm getting some content out here on day 1 of qualifying, which is nice. I'll wake up tomorrow nice and early and get the rest of the back 9 up for everybody. Alright, so minus 15. Nothing too special, as this tournament is playing super high. Did pretty well, overall. I wish I could have a couple shots back that I left right at pin, but sometimes that's just how the game goes. All right, hole number 1, pretty easy here. You can use yourself a Titan, you can use yourself a Katana, you can use yourself a Kingmaker, whatever you want to do. Very favorable wind. For me, I just go with a Titan. As you can see here, when it comes to this shot, I'm going to move my target over until the red ring is basically right up against the rough line, very close to it. And then with my extra mile here, I go with full backspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. If you have more side spin to the left, you're going to use that. If you want to use different clubs that have more backspin, that's fine too. You could do like a Thor's Hammer. If you wanted to, you could do a rock shot. There's a lot of different options on hole number 1. Just a little bit of OP, not much. And then half a ball to curl to the left. I do hit a perfect ball here. And you'll see that we come from one fairway over the sand trap pretty easily, and we roll onto the fairway, leaving us for obviously the chip-in shot with our wedge to pick up the eagle on hole number 1. Now we go to hole number 2. We're going to play at 15% at mid, so 15% at mid here. I'm going to show you 2 different replays, one with a navigator, one with a money ball. We're going to go 1.5 top, okay, which you're going to see, and half a bar a side spin to the right. I want you to go 1.7 top, and you're going to see why. Also, you have to zoom in pretty far on this particular hole, because depending on your wind angle, you may get that tree branch in your way a little bit, but if you just zoom in a little further, you'll be okay when it comes to that. So here you saw that I only played with 1.5 bars of topspin. I hit the rough, I come through, everything looks good, and then it just runs out of steam right before the pin, so we need to come in a little bit faster. I decided to give it a try with the money ball as well. Like I always try to give, well, I normally always give you one look with a regular free-to-play ball. In fact, I probably play 95, 98% all free-to-play. But here, just in case you want to use a money ball to try to make this shot a little bit easier, for me, the only reason I'm doing it on this hole, on this account, is because it's just a good spot to do it. Because you can see here, we're adjusting from a higher point to a lower point. It doesn't really seem to throw anything off on this shot, but I was trying to keep myself from doing that, and I do get pretty close to just a regular pull here. But here I add a little bit more of that top spin, and as you're going to see, that even in the lower mile per hour wind, this one comes in dead center for the hole-in-one. So if you're using a navigator ball, it's obviously plenty of juice as we have a really great line. Just make sure you use a little bit more top spin on hole number 2. Hole number 3, going to play at 10% at max. For me, I'm going to go from fairway to fairway, and then I'm going to go 6 bars of top spin combined with 3 bars of side spin to the right. We're going to make this pull here, like I said, at 10%. This is a pretty easy drive. All we ever have to do on this drive is make sure that we avoid the sand trap to the left, which is why you see me adding about 1/4 of a ball of curl to the right. Just to make sure that I hop off here and this ball takes a good spin and keeps us away from the sand trap, and you don't even see it here on the camera angle, so that's how you know you have a good drive. This will take us in here to shot number 2, trying to get that albatross. I play at 20% at max. Even though we're not at max distance, I do go ahead and pull it at max, just because we are getting headwind with a crosswind angle from left to right. So that wind is pushing us away from the hole. One little trick we can do in the game to compensate for that is just to add elevation. That's going to make us pull more rings. It's going to make us pull towards the same direction of the hole. Some people care to know those details, some people don't, but at the end of the day, that's why I'm playing this one 20% at max. And you'll see here overall that the elevation and the spin combinations is good, right? Because we have great speed here. The shot looks really nice. We just need to take just a little bit of backspin off. That's it. So a little bit of backspin, a little bit of an adjustment there. But hole number 3 looks like a really good opportunity for you to pick up an albatross as well. That'll take us right in here to hole number 4. Hole number 4, I'm playing shot 1 10% at max and shot 2 10% at max, which you'll see. 6 top, 3 bars of side spin to the left. One thing that I do here is I do back up my target to put the green ring on the rough, and you can see I'm at the plus 10 yard mark. The reason I do that is because I know that I have to pull into headwind. So by me moving my target at the beginning, it allows me to make a normal pull, and as you see, I pull my club exactly to max. I am using a little bit of OP combined with half a ball of curl to the left, and I do get a perfect ball. And this is a drive we really like on this hole in pro because it leaves us for a good chance to drop the eagle for shot number 2. Now you're going to see me play shot number 2 here, 10%, like I said, at max. That's why I played both shots. And then you'll take note of the aim point that I have. This is the ball guideline going directly to the center of the hole, and you do see that I am going with a no spin approach. Hit a perfect ball. And this one kicks in and drops it on the left-hand side of the cup. Just be careful with that because it did take a pretty hard turn to the left there, so just careful that you don't miss this one to the left. All right, hole number 5. Hole number 5 we'll have to talk about for a second because I'm going to play the katana ball. You can play the kingmaker if you want to. For me, I'm trying to preserve some kingmakers until the final round. I'm going to play this one 25% at max, which you'll see on the pool here. Right curl is going to be based on the wind mile per hour. All you need to remember is the higher the wind, the more curl. Now you might be asking, well, how do I know where to start? Well, you're going to start with what I did because I have a hole-in-one. So 6.4 miles an hour. You're going to take note of the curl that I do, and you're going to copy the spins. 3 bars of side spin to the right, combined with, let's make sure this is going to be 1.8 backspin, that I didn't change anything. Now, after I set my spins, I turn the camera angle a little bit so that I can see these dark green and light green squares. I'm going to reverse. You see how the camera angle is right here as I make my spins? 1.8 back, 3 bars to the right. Now I'm going to move the camera around so that I can get a good look at the dark green and light green squares because based off my practice shots, I knew where I wanted to aim. Okay, so this is my aim point. Can you see that the very end of my ball guideline looks like it's in like the middle bottom section of that dark green square to the right hand side of the hole? Now with 6.4 miles per hour wind, if you're taking notes, you're going to see how much curl I use here. I'm going to pause the shot. Okay. Notice this is the curl amount. So my ball is not even halfway in the blue adjustment zone. Maybe it's 1/4 of the way into the blue adjustment zone. Perfect ball will be crucial. Now this is going to be hard to duplicate. This is a hard hole-in-one to pick up. You know, I feel lucky that I got it, but I did make my adjustments based off my practice shots, and you do see it did come in dead center. So if you were higher wind, you know, in the 7s, maybe a little bit more curl. If you're lower winds, maybe a little bit less curl. Keep in mind, why would we use less curl and lower wind? Is because we're not getting as heavy as a push from our wind from right to left. And that's why we're using the right curl to counter effect that right to left push. That'll take us to hole number 6. Hole number 6, we can play 10% at max. You can use a Titan ball here if you have an extra mile 9. If you're a lower level extra mile player, you can see here, you might want to go ahead and go with a power 4 or even a berserker on this hole. I'm going to make my adjustment and then I am going to push back up into max. We do need as much distance here as possible to make sure that we're going to get over this water. I do blast off a perfect shot, which is always nice. You'll see here this thing's got plenty of horsepower to get from one fairway to the next. This is really cool because, you know, at this point, it's going to leave us with the Goliath shot for the rough bump, which is how I play this hole. I do play this one with the Goliath, which is why it's in my bag. I do go for the rough bump here because of the top spin with the Goliath I really like. Now you'll see the top spin is going to vary depending on how many yards you get. Here I'm a little bit over 5 bars of top spin. I try to put my yellow ring on the rough there for a reference point. That way we have something to go off from account to account. Here I almost had too many yards on my drive. So the one thing that I would say is pack your Goliath, but then also pack your short iron club that has the most topspin available, because you may get too many yards on the drive and be stuck taking a rough bump with your short iron. So keep that in mind, but there's an albatross look for hole number 6. That'll take us on here to hole number 7. Hole number 7, I do whip out the Zerk here, and obviously a high-level APOC. I'm going to go with full top, and then I'm going to kick this off to 1 bar side spin to the left. You can see here that I've got my ball guideline aiming just to the left-hand side of that rough up there to the top of the screen. This is a dangerous shot. You know, you do need a good level club to pull this one off, and you definitely need a ball like a Berserker to help you out. You can also take this shot with extra miles. It's just going to require some overpower, because keep in mind the APOC has, you know, 3 or 4 more power stat than our extra mile. But you see here we have a lot of fairway to work with. You can pull it off with other clubs. Here I hit the rough and I roll down, leaving myself for a pretty long putt, but the putt is definitely makeable. And at that distance, the screen doesn't even shake or anything, so it's just a normal putt if you just look at your arrow and don't think about the distance, okay? I think, you know, I'd rather take the shot on pro like this, because what I don't like is the layup options and then the rough bump, or to try to go to the second fairway there on the left-hand side of the screen and then take a really inconsistent ball guideline bounce. Here, you know, unless you hit a very nasty great left, that would be the only thing that could ruin your shot going to the water. But if you land in the sand or you get stuck in the rough, you're easily making it down to the green in 2. So for me, this is a high-risk, high-reward shot. If you pull off the shot, you're going to be picking up an eagle on a hole that a lot of people may not get an eagle on. So best of luck to you on that hole. That'll bring us here to hole number 8. Hole number 8, this one you're going to play 10% at max with a power 1 ball, and then you're going to take off 0.1. So what does that mean? So let's say that, for example, when you play at 10% at max, let's say you're supposed to pull 6.2 rings, you would only pull 6.1. All right, if you're supposed to pull 5.7, you would pull 5.6. So we're playing this 10% at max minus 0.1 ring. Notice here we're going to go with about 0.3 backspin, 0.3 side spin to the left. This one's not 100% consistent for me, but, you know, I did drop it in practice. I dropped it here. So it's there. I also hate this wind angle too, you know, when you're pulling into the water like that. That can sometimes throw off the shots. But you're going to see that we come in very nicely. We get a great roll, and it just stops. So what do we need to do here? We need to take a little bit of backspin off. You know, that's why I said at the beginning of this video that a minus 15 was good. But boy, I wish I could just have a couple of these shots back. So take a little bit of the backspin off, keep the side spin to the left, and you've got yourself a really, really nice ball guideline to pin there on hole number 8. This will bring us into hole number 9. Hole number 9, we're playing at 10% at max. And then here, I'm going to go to the left-hand side, full top, again, 2 bars of side spin to the left. And I am looking to get, obviously, as much distance as possible on this drive. The Pro Division, some of these 2 par 5s, you know, depending on wind angles, they give us the opportunity to gamble, to give ourselves good albatross opportunities. You do see here that I do push back up to max. I do go to full OP again, and I hit a minor great left. Minor great left is just fine. You'll see that I hit the fairway here We bounce to this fairway, and we just roll up, and that's looking good. Now here on shot number 2, I'm going to play at 10% at mid. This is a favorable wind angle on this hole because it's blowing from right to left, so it is pushing us back towards the hole, which is always going to be nice. Here, the only thing I don't like is that with the Titan ball, I have to play it a little close to the rough there. It'd be nicer to have a Kingmaker or, something with a side spin 3. You can see here that I have an offset to the right-hand side of the cup. %, at mid is 1-for-1 with the wind, so you just saw me pull 6 rings and 6.0 mile per hour wind. Ball guideline played exactly true, so I didn't even need the offset. Ball guideline played 100% true on that shot. So that is it for that. It's a late night here. I'm going to bed. I hope you found this helpful. I hope that you leave me some comments to let me know how you do and give me that thumbs up. I will talk to you bright and early tomorrow with the rest of Pro. Thanks, everybody.